The voice will exist and endure outside of the ups and downs of election cycles and the weakness of short-term politics. It will be an unflinching source of advice and accountability, not a third chamber, not a rolling veto, not a blank cheque, but a body with the perspective and the power and the platform to tell the government and the parliament the truth about what is working and what is not. To tell the truth with clarity, with conviction, because a voice enshrined in the Constitution cannot be silenced. Friends, I believe the best way to seize the momentum is by settling as soon as possible on the referendum question that will be put to the people of Australia. Now, I respect the fact that many people have done a power of good work to bring us to this point, particularly the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander campaigners, best represented by the delegates to the Uluru Convention in 2017. I am grateful and I honour everyone who has made a contribution to the process. And now I am hoping that we can draw those threads together. I am hoping we can progress the efforts of good-willed, hard-working people who want to see the nation move forward and justice realised, recognising that this is one of the steps in our nation's journey of healing. Our starting point is a recommendation to add 3 sentences to the Constitution in recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as the first peoples of Australia. 1, there shall be a body to be called the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice. 2, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice may make representations to Parliament and the Executive Government on matters relating to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. And 3, the Parliament shall, subject to this Constitution, have power to make laws with respect to the composition, functions, powers and procedures of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice. These draft provisions can be seen as the next step in the discussion about constitutional change. This may not be the final form of words, but I think it is how we can get to a final form of words. In the same way, alongside these provisions, I would like us to present the Australian people with the clearest possible referendum question. We should consider asking our fellow Australians something as simple but something as clear as this. Do you support an alteration to the Constitution that establishes an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voice? A straightforward proposition, a simple principle, a question from the heart. We can use this question and the provisions as the basis for further consultation, not as a final decision, but as the basis for dialogue, something to give the conversation shape and form. I ask all Australians of goodwill to engage on this. Respectfully, purposefully, we are seeking to secure support for the question and the associated provisions in time for a successful referendum in this term of Parliament. If not now, when? If not now, when? Back in 1967, not a single member of the House of Representatives or the Senate voted against the referendum provisions. In the same spirit, I hope that the opposition and the crossbench will support the proposal join the campaign for a yes vote and bring their supporters to the cause. We will seek out every ally and every advocate from, to quote the statement, every point under the southern sky. Fundamentally, this is a reform I believe every Australian can embrace, from all walks of life, in every part of the country, from every faith and background and tradition, because it speaks to values that we all share and honour: fairness, respect, decency. Enshrining a voice will be a national achievement. It will be above politics, a unifying Australian moment. There may well be misinformation and fear campaigns to counter, but perhaps the greatest threat to the cause is indifference. The notion that this is a nice piece of symbolism, but it will have no practical benefit, or that somehow advocating for a voice comes at the expense of expanding economic opportunity, or improving community safety, or lifting education standards, or helping people get the health care they deserve or find the housing that they need. Championing a voice won't stop us from upgrading all-weather roads so communities can get the supplies and services that they need. It won't delay our plan to train 500 new Aboriginal healthcare workers. It won't stand in the way of our new investments in life-saving kidney dialysis treatment. Let us all understand this very clearly. Australia does not have to choose between improving people's lives and amending the Constitution. We can do both, and we have to.